Game 2 of the current series. If you've not yet seen Game 1, you might want to go watch that first. There'll be a link in the description as well as in a button on the video. Game 2 from the group stage, the IEM World Championship, between Slayer's S.MMA and Dignitas's Killer. Now, MMA will be the blue Terran down in the southwest position here on Tal'darim altar, whereas Killer is our red Zerg up in the northeast position on Tal'darim altar, so they are at cross positions. Slayer's MMA is up 1-0 after that last game, so if he takes this one too, that'll be it. Whereas Killer can win here and force it into the ace match. Now, last game, very typical for a Terran versus Zerg of late in the metagame.
Yeah. Very, very typical. A lot of Ling Bling and Fester into Ultras. And just shit tons of tanks and Marines.
Yeah, the main variable is the use of mutas, which Killer did not employ. He went in Fester instead. Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's a fairly typical Terran versus Zerg, but MMA was able to prevent Killer from expanding pretty thoroughly. He had good control of the middle, and then he ended up with a substantial army advantage, pushed and killed him.
Yep. Amaze barracks getting his wall off. The drone scout is kind of early, checking the wrong spawn position.
Yep, now headed out the other way.
And it looks like he also has a drone heading out to grab his 14 hatch. Goes down and contested again. Amaze refinery finishing up, so it's basically what we've seen.
We'll see if he gets the quicker reactor this time, or if he gets it delayed as he did last game.
Yeah, it was a little bit odd seeing the barracks, the factory finishing without the barracks having built the reactor for it. Looks like Scout SCV is on his way out now.
Yeah, drone
getting
chasing
into the base.
Yeah, drone chased him for a moment, but then broke off, and now he's preventing the second Splatty bow from being dropped, fighting with the other SCV coming to build it. Then he breaks off as the Marine comes to chase him out.
Yep, looks like MMA is going to scout the wrong spawn position first as well with his scout.
Yep, he is now queued to go to the right location though.
Spawn pool and extractor about 2/3 of the way done for Killer. And factory on its way for MMA. Barracks still not making an add-on though.
Yep, once again the factory will precede the reactor. If there is a reactor, but it's a reasonably safe assumption.
Yeah.
MMA now sees everything in Killer's base, sees that it is all absolutely standard, and he goes ahead and leaves.
Yep, and drops his own natural. Barracks is abandoning the wall, coming to land next to the factory.
While the factory is simply single producing Hellion right away.
Yep. So it's the same thing he did last game, so I will assume that MMA knows something I do not. It seems like usually you see the reactor get built by the barracks. Tech lab going onto the barracks now. Maybe that's just something MMA likes to do now, is swap for the tech lab instead and get quicker tanks.
Now Killer has cut gas. He just got enough to pick up link speed, which is on the way. He's also getting that spine crawler out in front of his natural as is normal, and he's sending a few lings over here to start on the destructible debris by his third. It will take a couple years for 3 Zerglings to bring down destructible rocks on their own.
Yep, MMA did land the factory on the tech lab, but he's upgrading Blue Flame rather than Siege Tech, and he's adding 2 more barracks and a starport now.
Meanwhile, Killer is continuing to drone. Also throwing on another Queen.
Adding some more Zerglings to this debris.
Like the anticipation of Hellions, and also getting a creep spread. And just now he is starting to resume his gas mining, and also is getting a second and third gas. And a fourth now on the
MMA
way.
grabbing a second gas.
MMA now transferring SCVs to his natural, and is working on a wall outside of his natural, made of supply depots. Now his expansionless barracks, or his add-onless barracks, are just single-pumping Marines.
Yep, and single-pumping medvacs from his starport as well, and single-pumping aliens from his factory. Blue Flame does finish.
Yep. And Baneling Nest is now on the way, as with an Evo chamber. Now there are just a couple...
Or one of the barracks adding a reactor, one adding a tech lab, and another gets swapped onto the tech lab that was on the factory.
Now there are just 3 Hellions on the map, all spread out, mostly for scouting currently. Now they're headed over towards Killer's direction. Also a medevac is loaded up with 6 Marines. Killer has dropped his 3rd hatchery. And that medevac is about to drop those Marines outside of Killer's 3rd. They're starting initially on the extractor, a couple Hellions shooting from the low ground. Zerglings coming in here to try and counter it. Hellions are also elevated up. And they forced the initial Zerglings away, and now the drones are running from the mineral line. A few more Zerglings come in, also at the Queens. So a lot of mining time being denied here. Zerglings come in, get decent contact with the Marines. Now they're starting to clean the Marines up. Just 2 Hellions make it out of there. Medevac and the Hellions all in the orange.
Yep, his first Valkyrie is on the map. Or Viking, derp.
Now that killed only 4 workers, although it did deprive a decent amount of worker mining time. And it killed a decent number of Zerglings. But all in all, the resources lost are only 650 to 400, so not too substantially in the red for Killer. And he's getting those Hellions up into MMA's main. There's Lings here ready for them. Ooh, catches 5 Lings in a quick burst. And then he turns away to leave. Didn't lose either Hellion. Other one is out of the red.
Kind of by where these drops are, looks like he's going to clear out some of the overlords that have been scouting the drops.
Hellions come into the natural, get just 1 shot off before the Lings arrive, and then load up and leave. Medevac is now in the red.
Overlord. Looks like mutas are on the way.
Also flyer attacks.
9 in production.
Meanwhile, MMA, about a third of the way done building his 3rd command center. He's building it in his main. Also adding a couple more barracks.
Yep, bring him up to 5 barracks, 1 factory, 1 starport. Factory and starport still have no add-ons. 2 barracks with tech lab, 1 with reactor.
Now MMA did supply cap himself here at 102. And he's actually going to be supply capped for a while here. He just has supply depots starting. Ouch, that's a bit of a painful mistake.
A little bit of indecision on the Muta group. Taking out a couple of Marines at some Zelnaga towers. Catching some Marauders without... Oh, the Marines stim come in, but not really doing any damage to the mutas. Not any mutant full damage.
Yeah, just
meanwhile, this group of Bio and Hellions moving into the 3rd.
It kills off the Queen quickly. Now is regrouping rather than pushing in more thoroughly. Saw the Lings with that scan. It's pulling back towards this 11 o'clock location. Hiding behind the middle line.
Moving forward.
You just move forward, see the location. Now push into the Marines. Bit of a mistake. Nothing died, although one of the mutas got very close.
Yep, 1 volley took the medvac to about half.
Mutas circling around, Lings are fanned out. Mutas trying to snipe off a Marauder, bring it down deep into the red, don't quite kill it. Take a few hits from some Marines. Marines and all these ground forces now moving out. As the Zerglings have moved away.
And May doing a transfer and adding some turrets at his 3rd.
There's also a hit squad of Marines moving around, cleaning out some of the overlords in the southeast quadrant of the map. Now that other main force is clearing out creep tumors, getting rid of the creep highway, and now moving back towards the center, towards the northern Zelnaga watchtower. Ling's
Macro
coming
hash
here.
coming out of him.
Now the Planetary Fortress third is well established. He's got three turrets surrounding it. Has not picked up gases at that location yet, but he does have it saturated with SCBs.
Yeah, a couple idle, but
A few Lings marching into the army here. They take some quick fire and turn right around. Was not going to be a good engage, and Killer knew it. Now MMA is advancing up. Mutas catch a few of the Hellions, but Marines also take some hits in the Mutas. A couple of Mutas have gone down now.
barely don't kill one of those Hellions with 1 hit point.
Oh, Muta's coming from behind, gonna catch some medevacs. A few Marines stem back. Ooh, barely do not kill a medevac, although one of those medevacs is at 1 health. Or 5 health.
Yeah, a lot of very, very low units here for MMA clearing out the debris for a 4th.
Meanwhile, behind this Killer is well on his way to grabbing his own 4th, that same 11 o'clock position that MMA was hiding at earlier.
Mutas kill 2 more of the medevacs, just sort of doing a hit and run on this as MMA retreats back to his base.
Ling Bling about to catch these Marines slightly out of position. They get a good surround. Ling's boxing the Marines in. Banelings are able to get great connections. Now, a couple more Banelings aren't quite able to get connections going up the ramp, but the Marines are mostly thinned out, and the Muta pack is still very healthy. Going up into this mineral line. Doesn't quite get the refinery before some Marines arrive and chase it off.
Yeah, took a couple of shots from one of those turrets as well.
That engage leaves Slayer's MMA at 116 versus Killer up at 138. And the Muta pack is still... Well, Muta pack's going to catch this command center under construction.
Oh, not cancelled either.
Yep, it was not cancelled. Now they're poking in, getting at the starport, but there's a bunch of Marines here ready to chase them away. Now they're coming up again towards that mineral line, going to catch a tank. Don't quite catch 2 tanks. That time that command center is cancelled, and the Mutas run away though as the Marines are here. Muta's managing to do pretty decent damage. Even though the initial push was somewhat iffy. MMA going into take 3 on this, what is to be his 4th command center. And Thors are now out on the field. There's the first couple here. Meanwhile, Killer's 4th is up and active, and he's just transferring his first couple drones to it. He's also getting his gases there. Currently he's sitting at 64 drones. MMA has 58 SCVs.
Some Mutas snipe out a medvac full of Marines. Sort of a free drop.
A lot of Lings and Mutas out in the middle of the map here. A whole bunch of Banelings now morphing in by the western watchtower. The Mutas have split off from that group. Looks like they're kind of looking for an opening. Now they're heading towards the natural. Ooh, decent sized Thor hit. Brings a few of them down to the yellow. The Muta pack is up to 25. That's getting to be an imposing number. It is making its way down around what would be MMA's likely 4th location. A few Marines getting caught out here by Lings. Most of the Lings and Blings falling back though. Mutas are going to catch this command center that was lifting on its way to take that 4th. They might be able to kill it. There's only a few Marines here. Yeah, they are going to catch it. That command center goes down. Ooh, Thor gets a decent hit, but the Mutas get out fairly cleanly overall.
Yeah, Mutas continue to do a great deal of harassment.
MMA is now pushing forward with a very large number of Marines, a few tanks, and a couple Thors, also backed up with a couple medevacs.
Currently capped at 177 of 177 supply, versus Killer's 191 of 194 supply.
Yeah, Killer has a very large Ling Bling Muta ball, just north of MMA's force.
And MMA, tired of building 1 command center to get a 4th, is now making 2.
Now the Muta pack goes ahead and right into the missile turrets, takes down 2 missile turrets, and is now going for the mineral line. Goes ahead and cleans out the 3rd missile turret now. Clears out a few SCVs, so Marines have now arrived, and they're going to go ahead and move on. Magic boxing a Thor in MMA's main, right above the 3rd, and now going down to the 3rd, clearing out the missile turrets there. And the Muta pack is being whittled down a lot by this, and he's mostly killed missile turrets and that Thor, not really a whole lot of direct economic damage done here. and the meter pack
Yep.
is down to 12.
Greater Spire and Corruptors are on the way, though, as MMA moves out with some tanks and Thors. Leadersiv's army slowly catching up. Massive group of Zerglings and Banelings and a couple of Infestors moving out on Killer's side.
Yep, meeting the already established tank line in the middle. Swarming in. Decent connections for the Banelings, but not quite enough of them on Marines.
Yeah, all of it
However,
on
Muta's
tanks.
coming in from behind and clearing out some unprotected tanks before the Marines arrive. And force them away. So MMA holds in the center and is still advancing, although his force has been whittled down a bit.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad trade for Killer. He's now down 20 supply rather than being up 20.
More Infestors now arriving, and of course the Broodlords morphing in.
Looks like Killer looking to grab a fourth mining base.
While MMA is moving up towards Killer's established fourth. Not quite going to take it, just a few Marines that get warded off by the Mutas and some Infestors. Catches a few of the Marines in Kafungals, as well as the Medevac. But now the siege line is moving in that direction, as well as a Thor and some more Marines. Gonna clear out the Mutas. Ooh, Thor gets a couple decent hits on the Mutas. The Muta pack is basically gone, only 2 left. While these Marines continue pushing in here, this base is looking like it's in a lot of trouble. Broodlords and
2 of the 4 Broodlords coming in behind.
Yeah,
2
Broodlords
more
and Lings
behind
coming
it.
in, clearing out the tanks. Free tank kills for those Broodlords. But there goes the hatchery. And now the Thor engaging the Broodlords. The Marines turning to stem up onto the Broodlords, but there's also a whole bunch of Lings here ready to engage them. Now there's just a few too many Marines, and they managed to take it. Also reinforcements arriving, more Marines, a couple more tanks. MMA is up at 146 to Killer's 76.
And Killer down to 2 mining bases.
Yep,
On
MMA,
half supply of MMA.
and MMA is about to shut one of them down, catching Killer's third here. The hatchery is almost dead, and there it goes. Drones trying to run away, but a lot of them are getting caught.
Drop a Marine. Oh, Killer GG's out. After the hatchery, one of his 2 mining bases dies, just knows he's basically out of it, can't resupply. He was at 68 supply to MMA's 153.
Well, and that was really his only currently active mining base. I mean, he owned that other 5th location. I mean, he had his hatchery finished, but he didn't actually have any workers there. So he had no active mining.
Yeah. He definitely had a couple of good engages, but the last few more major army exchanges did not go in Killer's favor in any way.
Nope.
Once Thor's got out on the field, it was basically over.
Yeah, all in all, MMA took that series pretty convincingly. And yeah, that gives it to MMA 2-0.